Welcome to the deep dive. Ready to unlock some language secrets?
Always.
Today, we're exploring some fascinating English vocabulary and idioms.
Ooh, fun.
And you know what's cool? Our source material is actually a podcast.
A podcast.
Yeah, one specifically for people learning English. But honestly, there are some real gems in here for everyone.
I bet. I'm already intrigued.
I think even native speakers like us might be surprised.
Yeah, you're right. We use these words and phrases every day, but we rarely stop to think about where they came from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in, shall we? First up, revamp.
Okay, revamp.
Our source uses it when talking about a company trying to appeal to like a younger audience by updating their logo.
Got it.
So it's not just a simple improvement, right?
It's way more dramatic, like a total
Okay.
transformation, making something feel like new and exciting again.
Fresh.
Exactly.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. The origin of revamp, ready for this?
Hit me with it.
It comes from the world of shoes.
Shoes.
I know, right? So apparently vamp originally referred to the uppy part of a shoe, like the part that covers your foot.
Okay, I see.
And to revamp meant to like repair or replace that part.
So giving those old shoes a new lease on life.
Exactly. And over time, the meaning expanded to encompass any kind of makeover or upgrade.
Makes sense.
It's like you take something old, you make it new again, revamp.
I like it. And there are other words we use too, right? Like renovate, overhaul.
Totally. But revamp has that extra layer of like modernization. It's
Yeah.
about appealing to a new audience or, staying current.
Right, like a website revamp or a brand revamp.
Exactly. Okay, ready for a super visual idiom.
Always.
This one is flog a dead horse.
Okay, I can already picture it. And it's a little morbid.
I know, right? Like, who would actually do that?
Well, that's the point, right? The imagery highlights how pointless the action is. It's like persisting in something that has absolutely no chance of success.
It's like banging your head against a brick wall.
Exactly. The example they use in the podcast is arguing with someone who's totally stubborn.
Oh, I know the feeling.
No matter what you say, they're not going to budge.
Talk about frustrating.
It is. But it goes beyond just personal frustration. Think about, like, political debates that go nowhere, or a company that keeps investing in a product that no one's buying.
Oh, yeah. Or like those meetings that could have been an email.
Exactly. You're just wasting time and energy flogging a dead horse. And, sometimes changing the wording can soften the blow a bit.
Quicken the blow.
Yeah. Instead of the graphic imagery, you could say beating a dead horse
Okay.
or even wasting your breath.
Those work too. All right, switching gears now to something a bit more, shall we say, sophisticated.
Ooh, lay it on me.
Quid pro quo.
Ooh, Latin. Fancy.
I know, right? It's not just any exchange, though.
What do you mean?
It's very specific, like a balanced exchange. Something for something. See, that pro in the middle, that's key. It emphasizes the direct connection. The example they give is a partnership. One company provides a service, the other company gives them publicity.
Ah, I see.
Both sides are getting something specific out of the deal.
Right, a clear agreement where both parties benefit.
Yeah.
Makes sense why you see it a lot in, like, legal stuff, business contracts,
Yeah.
even diplomacy.
Oh, absolutely. And the literal translation from Latin is perfect. This for that.
Nice. Mirroring each other, just like the exchange itself.
I love that. And if you need a memory trick,
Oh, I love a good memory trick.
think about how quid and quo both end with D and O.
Oh,
Mirroring again.
that's brilliant.
Of course, we also have synonyms like trade-off and reciprocity.
True, true. Good to have options.
All right, ready for an idiom that I just find so satisfying?
Always.
Hit the nail on the head.
Ooh, I love that one too. It's just like so perfect.
It's more than just being right. It's that, like, precision.
Yes. It's like you've identified the exact cause of a problem, or you've stated something perfectly.
The example in the podcast is about someone suggesting a website improvement.
Okay.
And everyone's like, yes, that's exactly it. That aha moment.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that precision, I think it comes from, well, literally hitting a nail on the head.
Carpentry.
You got it. You want that nail to go in straight and secure, you got to be precise. No room for error.
I love that connection. And I don't know about you, but when I hear that phrase, I can practically hear the hammer, like thunk.
Totally. It's so satisfying.
Right. And we have other phrases that mean similar things, right? On the mark or spot on.
Those work too. But sometimes you just got to hit that nail right on the head.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so we've talked about precision, but what about when you need to be concise?
Concise.
Yeah, like get straight to the point, like with this next idiom. To cut a long story short.
I feel like I could use that one more often. I do tend to ramble sometimes.
Oh, we've all been there. Like you're telling a friend about something that happened and you can just see their eyes glazing over as you go into all the details.
Too much information.
Exactly. But this idiom, it's like saying, look, I could tell you the whole saga, but let's just get to the good stuff.
Efficient. And it's interesting, isn't it? This saying's been around for ages.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess humans have always struggled with being concise.
Too true. But wait, I have a thought. Doesn't using this idiom kind of imply that there's a longer story?
Good point.
Like you're acknowledging there's more to be said, but you're choosing to focus on the key takeaway.
Right. It's like a literary ellipsis. You invite the listener to imagine the details without actually hearing them.
I love that, a literary ellipsis. Okay, give me an example. How would you use it in a sentence?
Let's see. To cut a long story short, we missed our flight, but luckily got seats on the next one.
Perfect. You skipped all the drama of how you missed the flight, but we still get the gist.
Exactly. Efficiency at its finest.
All right, on to an idiom that perfectly captures that feeling of being stuck. To sit on the fence.
Ooh, I know that one. Indecision, right?
You got it. It's that person who can't make up their mind between two options.
Or they don't want to take a stand on an issue.
Right. They're straddling that metaphorical fence, not committing to one side or the other.
It's such a vivid image, isn't it? Literally perched on a fence, trying not to fall off either way.
I know. And just like sitting on a real fence, I bet it gets pretty uncomfortable after a while.
Totally. And it implies a lack of progress, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's stagnation.
And like sometimes it's about avoiding a tough decision. But other times it could just be like careful consideration.
True, true. Context is key.
Always.
Okay, now for one that I hear all the time but don't always fully grasp, rule of thumb.
Ah, yes. Rule of thumb. It sounds so official, right?
It does, like it's some ancient law.
But really it's just a general principle or guideline.
Yeah.
Experience or common sense. It's less about precise measurements and more about, like, what's generally worked in the past.
So it's a shortcut.
You got it.
Yeah.
It makes things simpler.
Totally. I feel like people use it a lot when giving advice.
Oh, definitely. As a rule of thumb, you should always...
Exactly. But you know what's funny? The phrase has nothing to do with thumbs.
Wait, really?
Yeah. One theory is that it came from, like, carpenters or other tradespeople. They'd use the width of their thumb as a rough estimate.
A handy little measuring tool.
Exactly. Though maybe not super accurate all the time.
Well, hey, sometimes close enough is good enough.
So true. Okay, speaking of missing the mark, that brings us to our next idiom. To miss the boat.
Ah, I think I know where this one is going. Missed opportunities.
You got it. It's that feeling of like a chance slipped away and you didn't grab it.
Oof. I've been there. Like that time I hesitated to buy tickets to that concert and...
They sold out.
Yep. I missed the boat.
We've all been there, but hey, at least it's a good reminder to seize those opportunities when they come along.
Absolutely. You never know, and they'll come around again.
So true. Speaking of seizing opportunities, how about this one? To get your act together.
Ooh. That one has a bit more of a, like a tough love vibe.
It does, doesn't it? It's like a call to action.
Like, someone's got potential, but they're not quite living up to it.
Right. Like, hey, you've got all the pieces, now put them together.
Exactly. Whether it's a coach yelling at their team or, you know, a friend giving some tough advice.
It's a wake-up call.
Totally. Time to take control and make some changes.
Love it. All right, let's move on to an idiom that I think everyone can relate to, especially those of us who are, shall we say, ambitious.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
To bite off more than you can chew.
Ooh. Yeah, I know that feeling. Like that moment of panic when you realize you've taken on too much.
Way too much.
Exactly. Too many responsibilities, too many tasks, too many challenges. And you're like, how am I going to do all of this?
The imagery is so perfect, right? Imagine trying to stuff a giant bite of food into your mouth.
It's uncomfortable, messy. You might even choke.
Exactly. Not a good look.
Definitely not.
So it's a good reminder to, like, know your limits, don't overcommit.
Prioritize. Sometimes it's better to do a few things well than to try to do everything and end up doing nothing well.
So true. Quality over quantity for sure.
Now you're talking.
Speaking of quality, how about this one? Actions speak louder than words.
A classic. It's all about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. It's like you can say whatever you want, but what you do is what really matters.
People believe what they see, right? Think about it. Would you rather have a friend who's always promising to help but never follows through? Or a friend who just shows up when you need them?
No contest, actions all the way. Okay, this next one is one of my favorites. A penny for your thoughts.
Ooh, it's so gentle, isn't it?
It is. It's like a polite way of saying, hey, you seem lost in thought. What's going on in that brain